Welcome to the Ratbag Nomads. In this episode we cycle the shores of Lake Titicaca, cross into Peru, party at Carnival, get cozy with a llama, and step into the capital of the Inca.
We're the Ratbag Nomads. We're going now to do stuff. Food and cheers, a big buff.
I arrived to the shores of the famous Lake Titicaca, South America's largest lake by volume and the world's highest navigable lake. At 3,812 meters, it straddles the border between Peru and Bolivia, and it's where I'll say goodbye to Bolivia. I discovered Bolivia had an amazing assortment of different cultures. Spanish is spoken, however so is Quechua and Aramea. In fact, 60% of the population are of pure Native American ancestry. I found the people to be overtly superstitious, holding strong to many traditions of their heritages. On numerous occasions I saw instances of ancient kingdom being forced to meet modern world. The Bolivianos enjoy soup for breakfast, a potato at almost every meal, and chew cocoa leaf by the cheekful. In 2006, President Evo Morales, formerly a cocoa farmer, came into power and legalized the production of cocoa leaf. He subsequently cancelled the American war on drugs in Bolivia, stating that the traditional ways of the Bolivian people shouldn't be affected simply because the Western countries couldn't control themselves. I thoroughly enjoyed my time in Bolivia. Although seemingly rough around the edges, there was something about the ancient culture which enchanted and fulfilled me. So my first day in Peru, I've been stuck with a bit of a problem. I tried to change money at the border and they just don't do that there. So I've got a 110 kilometer stretch where I've got no money. I rocked up to this small town called Puno. Everyone just gathered around me, wanted to say g'day. Feeling much better. Been feeling a bit down the last couple of days with all the rain and stuff. Plus, not to forget that I'm above 4,000 meters of altitude. So my bike, packed with all the rubbish that it's got, has made it a bit difficult. But lovely town, lovely people, and I hope Peru stays this good. I met Raul on the side of the road. He spoke no English. Relying on my broken Spanish, we managed a conversation and he invited me to stay at his house. He insisted that I share the room with his family of 7, but the lush green uncut grass looked so inviting. I set up my tent in the backyard. We ate soup and rice in his mud hut and dirt floor, whilst his children played with my hair and asked about my life. At one point the power went out, so we just sat there for hours trying to communicate about our lives and experiences. The next morning I was awoken by the children and cows. I felt like I'd slept for 1,000 years and had risen to meet the most beautiful day. So I'm hanging out at an abandoned petrol station. I'm eating my morning tea that my Peruvian grandmother gave me, which is some goat's cheese and some potatoes that they grew next to the house. It was very refreshing spending some time with some real people. I'm off to Cusco now. I've got some steep hills and some deep valleys, and it should take me about 7 days. Throughout the following days, the elements were not always on my side, and it seemed as though the ever-present rain was out to test my conviction. It was the time of year for Carnival, and the streets were alive with people celebrating. Reflecting on my experiences in La Paz, I decided to stay on the country roads to bypass Carnival, hoping to make up some time and continue heading north. However, one muddy morning, it became glaringly obvious that the universe had other ideas. I entered a small town to replenish my water supply and came face to face with a parade. The local children, armed with spray cans and silly string and foam, dragged me into the center plaza of town. I was surrounded by mountain people, and it quickly became apparent that there was no escape.
So it's Carnival Day, and I've just hit the small town of Upper, and there's no other gringos around. I'm the only one here watching the festival.
Now being resigned to the spirit of Carnival, I happily drank beer and ate slices of beet heart on kebabs. Although I'd set out to avoid Carnival, it didn't happen that way, and luckily too, for I was rewarded with the true experience of what it should be. The colourful costumes, traditional dancing, people having fun and laughing were certainly a sight to behold, and one that I very nearly missed. Hours later, I escaped the town and its carnival-crazed inhabitants. I was hit by a mountain storm and had climbed almost 1,000 meters in the past few days without even noticing it.
But there's some bad weather coming. Behind me there's snow on the mountains, and I've got to get my tent together quickly.
After spending a night on a llama farm, I was roused by the family that owned it. I ventured down the road after a breakfast of soup and cheese. After a few days of camping in the rain, I finally reached Cusco. I found my journey was turning from one of exploration of rugged landscapes to one of exploration of culture and people. To do this, I had to drop all my barriers and embrace the new experiences. As a global citizen, and as difficult as it was, I found it enlightening to wade through the wonderful sea of humanity that we call home. And yet I did not know that the true adventure was only just beginning. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a comment below. And if you'd like to support the Ratbag Nomads, you can do so via our Patreon page or through our website. It'd also be great if you could like and share our posts. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode where we venture off into the Amazon.